Development of Resources and Manufacturing. Chapter 8. 1. Resources. Material valually used in people's life are called resources. Resources are sometimes that people should be able to develop with technology and must have economic value. Natural resources such as coal, oil, and iron ore has been varied for hundreds of millions of years but not recognized as resources. As technology developed on make use of them, they were recognized as resources with economic value. On the other hand, the Sanghyun mine in South Korea, which was once the largest tungsten mine in the world, ultimately closed down because the mining expenses were too high. On the contrary, materials that currently cannot be used because of their low economic value may become important resources with a new use in the future due to new technology. Resources can also be evaluated differently depending on time, place, or cultural differences. For example, beef and pork are both important food resources in Korea, but Hindus do not consider beef as a food resource, and Muslims do not use pork as a food resource. When we use the term resource in its narrow sense, we mean natural resource such as mineral, food, and fuel. In a larger sense, the term includes all human resources, population, labor force, skill, creativity, etc., and cultural resources, social policy, cultural heritage, tradition, religion, national trait, etc. Resources are sometimes divided into renewable and non-renewable resources depending on the possibility of their renewal. Resources such as solar heat, wind, water, land, and forest can be used repeatedly and belong to a renewal, while resources such as oil, coal, and iron ore disappear once used and belong to a non-renewable. Although such things as land, forest, and fish are renewable resources, they can become exhausted if they are excessively abused, while non-renewable resources such as iron ore can be reused as scrap iron. 2. Distribution and movement of resources. Resources are distributed unequally in different regions and countries according to their natural environment. Additionally, the countries that possess resources and countries that use them are not necessarily the same. Accordingly, resources move from surplus regions to places that lack them. Let us look into the distribution and movement of some major resources. Food resources. General volume of food production increased greatly due to development in agricultural technology, but there are still many countries experiencing food shortage. Rice is cultivated in the hot and humid region of Asia, and its major exporting countries are Thailand, Vietnam, and China. But because its production and consumption areas are almost identical, the volume of its international trade is small. Wheat can withstand cold and dry climate much better than rice, and it's grown in many regions. It's mass-produced in such countries in the United States, Canada, and Australia, and exported to places such as Asia and Europe. Wheat has a different harvest period in the northern and the southern hemisphere, and its volume of international trade is large. Foods such as corn and beef are produced commercially in great quantities in the United States, Argentina, and Australia, and exported to the entire world. Energy resources. Coal, which is the engine of the industrial revolution, is evenly distributed in all parts of the world, but especially massive amounts of it are buried in places such as United States, Russia, and China. But because its thermal efficiency is lower than that of oil and it's inconvenient to be collected, its value is gradually falling. Today, oil is the most popular energy resource and raw material for chemical manufacturing. About 60% of its resources are concentrated in Southwest Asia, including Saudi Arabia. A lot of oil is also found in countries such as United States, Russia, Venezuela, China, and Norway. Oil is moved in large quantities internationally. Natural gas is a new clean energy due to recent environmental policies of various states. Its demand is increasing. It's buried in large quantities in places such as Russia, its nearby region, and Southwest Asia. Mineral resources. Iron ore, which is basic raw material of modern manufacturing, is distributed widely in the world. It is exported from such places as Brazil, Australia, Canada, and Russia to the countries in Europe and East Asia. Copper is a necessary mineral resource for electrical manufacturing and is actively traded internationally. It's buried in large quantity in such places in Chile and the United States and Central Asia. The main producer of bauxite, which is raw material for aluminum manufacturing. Other southern hemisphere nations such as Australia, Guinea, Brazil, and Jamaica. Forest resources. The world's lumber resources are concentrated in the tropical and subarctic zone. The subarctic zone have less variety of trees and nearer to the consumption area in comparison with the tropical zones. For those reasons, they were developed earlier. The tropical tree with hard fiber material are usually used for furniture or ships, and the soft trees in the subarctic zones are mainly used pulp and paper. Militarization for resources. The resources in the underdevelopment regions have mainly been developed by advanced nations with advanced capital. The nations in those regions were tied to the advanced nations that were developers and importers of their resources. Due to that, they used to have little profit compared to their own resources. Recently, however, these developing nations have been pursuing resource nationalism. In other words, they have been trying to overcome the control over the advanced nation and recover the ownership of their resources. They want to independently develop their resources and use them effectively for their own country's economic growth. In some cases, nations with the same resource agree with one another to either raise the price or reduce the output of their resources. In this case, they may use it as a weapon in international policies, greatly affecting the world economy. The countries with high dependency on foreign resources, such as Korea, are especially hit hard. Therefore, most nations of the world try to discover regions that contain useful resources and develop alternative resources. They also maintain intimate cooperative relationship with the nations that have resources in order to obtain a stable supply of resources. Almost every nation actively takes part in foreign resource development.